Hello guys, in these steps we will install some other tools to work with AWS EKS environment. But before going anywhere, we just need to make sure that our Python is installed. Let's say I know that we have Python 3 -1 minus version. Okay, here we go. We have Python 3. Let us just make an alias for now. So we can, every time when we type Python, it will be referring to Python 3. Let's test it. Okay, it's working. The next step, let's install, let's create a virtual environment. To do this, you type Python -m virtual environment. This is basically how we know that it's a command for Python to create virtual environment. Here you can just maybe specify your own company name or yourself just to make sure where you are. And here we just name this environment AWS VNV. At least this makes sense for me. Okay, let's go. The virtual environment was not created successfully because a answer is not available on Debian system. You need to install Python 3 environment. Okay, anyway, let's do it. Sudo apt-get install install. Typo. Apt-get install. It's gonna take some time. By the way, if you're working from Windows or Mac, you still can have access to Linux. You can install it maybe in your virtual machine somehow. It's up to you. Just I use Linux here. Okay, let's try again. What's gonna happen? Just need to create virtual environment, and I'll explain why we need it. So, second attempt. Okay, seems successful. Let me just then put this. This way we will activate it. So we just created this environment, and right now we using this command source and the same path. Then we know that the environment name is AWS VNV. Then we know that there will be bin folder and activate command. Okay, this makes us believe that AWS environment is created, and this is good. We can go to the next step. The reason is why we created virtual environment is just to make sure that we don't mess up with our dependencies. As long as we know where we are, and in this case it's AWS env, we can install different kind of dependencies and different version. It could be even different Python at some point. And knowing that it's stable and it's working for some selected context, in our case, working with AWS, it makes sense to keep it there in order not to screw up doing something else. Because for certain tasks, you need probably Python 2, some other dependencies, and then you just cannot be at one place for all type of tasks. So that's why these virtual environments are important, and that's why we created it there. And this will be our starting point where we'll be installing some other tools, Python tools, for our AWS Kubernetes exercises. let's see where we can go from there. So right now we are in AWS VNF virtual environment, and we know that to install dependencies in Python, you have to use pip command. So like pip install, etc. But before going anywhere, let's just see what we have right now in this environment, pip list, right? So we don't have much. We have pip itself, then package manager, and some setup tool, and this is the version of it. Okay, and okay, let's install something. We can actually install AWS CLI. I know that in previous step I acted as if AWS CLI already installed, but let's just install it again properly, being in this virtual environment, and see if it works. So pip install AWS CLI. Okay, it's taking some time, 3 megabytes. Okay, some other dependencies, docutils, bam, done, right? Let's see again the list. Okay, as you can see, the list is much bigger. And there is AWS CLI itself and all kind of different dependencies that are needed for this AWS CLI to work. So right now, I guess you understand why this virtual environment is important. And it's like a basics how to work with Python anyway. So it's nice to know, right? Actually, I found something interesting. As we install this AWS CLI, we see that the version is actually 1.22.58, which is old version from what I know. And I decided to check. If we go and see AWS CLI source code, and there is a changelog, it seems that the latest version is 2.4.19. So I would rather switch to this version than staying with old one. This is what we will do right now. It's kind of good exercise, right? Actually, here I was trying to install this and see how many times I tried. So I save your time, I guess, not being with you while doing this. But then I'll just went to this Python org and see what is the versions actually that we may to use to install AWS CI, and I can simply actually use that version here, and it should work. Let's see if it works. Actually, I don't even need to specify the version because it will take the latest one, I believe. So pip install AWS CLI version 2. Here we go. Um, let's see if we're still there. Yeah, this is how many times I tried. And voila, we have this AWS CI version 2. The previous version I removed, by the way, version 1. And right now we get what we wanted. Also, what is interesting is, I'll show you. So we have this pip list and we have AWS CLI version 2. Before, I used to have AWS, something that we used in previous videos. But right now I don't have it because I remove it, because I don't want to have any problems with having something globally installed. Because right now we're inside of our virtual environment, so I want to have all my Python things to be inside of that environment. So if I call this AWS, you see it doesn't exist, okay, which is fine. This is exactly what I want to. But if I want to call AWS, AWS command, I supposed to call it this way, okay, uh, like that. Exactly what I see in the list. Mhm. But in case if you don't like it, you can still create alias like this. Alias then AWS, right? And then this is supposed to work. Let's see. LS. Then run version, and it works. Okay, but at least just to make sure that when you type AWS or AWS v2, you actually have the same version that we installed here. So we don't have any surprises. Okay. Another thing that we have to install, and this is from the documentation. I'll send this link to you in the description. We have to install Eks Ctrl command. As you can see, it's a simple utility for creating and managing Kubernetes clusters on Amazon EKS. And this is how to install it. I'm just pasting this thing and just doing all these comments. Okay, save your time. Just went through these comments, and I installed this Eks Ctrl version 0.82.84.0. Okay, another thing that we have to install is kubectl, and we will use it. I just open this Kubernetes web page about this, how to install it, and I'll just willing to follow it. They always start from the very beginning, you know, and just don't rush, install it from there, but just scroll down up to this point where actually we can use native packages for Linux and install it from there. Let's follow the steps and see where they lead us. It's taking some time. I'll probably pause my video. Then go into the next step. I'm just following the steps, but I think I already have this package. Let's see. Yes, I do. Then just taking the next step from that page. I'll send a link to this page in the description of the video. The next one, just adding this up repository. And the very last two, last but not least, this update again. And the next one will be installing kubectl itself. Almost. kubectl. Okay. Then let's check the version. Yeah, version is 1.23 something. It's compiled. Okay, it's used Golang to compile this binary. Good to know. Okay, just quick wrap up what we did. We installed AWS CLI properly with virtual environment. We created alias, and we made sure that there is no any clashes around the environments, no surprises. Also, we installed Eks Ctl to manage Eks cluster from command line. As well, we installed kubectl to manage Kubernetes environment, and from there we can go and create something. Okay, see you in next video. Thanks.